Okay. Just 1 minute. Okay, so we are going to start by first addressing innovation. Okay, innovation. So in this chapter or in this syllabus as a whole, we are going to identify technology, or we have identified technology as a medium of how your product or your services or your process can be innovated. So simply saying, we are going to use technology to innovate a process which is already there in place, or maybe we are going to come up with a new product. Okay, your organization is going to come up with a new product based on certain conditions, based on the current market, or maybe you are going to see if your product or if your process or if your services are required at the current time. Okay, because why do I say this? Not all products work in the market. We will see in the next chapters, not all products work in the market. Okay, for example, if I give you, if I take an example of Food Panda. Food Panda came to Ipoh somewhere in 2014-15. Okay, yeah, I think around that area, that time. When it came in, yes, it was doing fine, but along the way it stopped because there was not any, there wasn't any what you say demand from the customers, from the users like us, and there wasn't any demand from the what you say the shop owners lah. Okay, the food shop owners, because Ipoh is a small town. It's okay for you to go out and buy, and yeah, you know, they didn't see it as necessary yet, because those days you can still drive your car and go and get your food. You know, it's quite simple, relatively simple as compared to KL, because of the distance and the traffic jam and the parking, you know, and all those things. So that product did not work out. That service, Food Panda service, did not work out in the first year it came to Ipoh. However, it came back again in about 2017-18, and it picked up. Because over time, between I think the first time it came, let's say the first time it came about 2015, between 2015 and 2018, a lot of people realized, and there was slight of a development in Ipoh, which made it difficult, or which made people realize that they need this kind of service. So that's when they started re-coming in again, and they picked up and they picked up and picked up. Okay, even the local Ipoh delivery boys were having some problem, because Ipoh at that time had some delivery service. I think it was Ipoh Runner or something like that. Yeah, they were good, but because of the name Food Panda, so that's why they were losing out. However, Food Panda and Ipoh Rider ni, dia punya business model is different. Okay, Food Panda covers a certain area, whereas Ipoh Rider covers the whole of Ipoh. That means I'm saying in Meru, I can order food from Gunung Rapat. Okay, I can order from Gunung Rapat. It's quite a distance, but if I'm willing to pay the cost, I can do that. So what I'm trying to say is that was a technological approach for a process. Okay, so the process of buying food, they use technology, they put a phone there, and you are able to do your order, payment, and everything, and voila, it's done. Okay, so we are going to see how certain things help us. Okay, so chapter 2, sources of innovation. Okay, so in 2007, this is just a story, but there's nothing much in the chapter. Okay, so this a story which happened about 2017, whereby these three people funded something which is called the clean meat. Okay, the clean meat. As I put down here, clean meat was what you say a meat grown inside the lab. Okay, you grow the meat inside the lab, meaning to say you do not cut the animal, but you do artificial meat. Okay, say the meat daging has 5 vitamins and proteins and whatever not, but now you are able to cultivate the same meat inside a lab. Okay, inside a lab, and you're able to do the same thing, and at the same time you do not kill an animal, and there was no other disadvantages. Okay, however, the biggest problem is because it's going to be very, very expensive, because now you do it inside a lab, and you require lots of scientists and all those things to actually produce this clean meat. Okay, so this is some sort of innovation. So the question we ask is, what were the potential advantages of developing clean meat? So before you develop or you come up with any innovation, you have to understand, or you have to ask, what is the advantage? Okay, what would be the challenges? Who is going to develop this, or who is going to produce this? Okay, so these are some questions that arise from the clean meat concept. So in your organization, if there was a new innovation coming up from yourself or your department or your boss, so the questions they will ask, the management will question, these were the basic questions I think everyone will ask. Number one, I think everyone will ask lah, semua orang tanya, what is the advantage? What is the advantage of me having this system? Okay, what is the advantage of me having this product? What will the advantage be for the customer? Okay, so they have the in 2000 and before this, there was a student of mine from TNB about 3-4 years ago. He did his final project on TNB mobile apps. Okay, macam mobile apps lah, macam Maxis mobile apps, whereby you can pay your bills, you will check your apa namanya, your current usage. But they said users did not use that product. They rather pay through Maybank to you or go to the post office or any other means, but rather than tak ramai yang download those products. Okay, so he did a study, a survey, and found out that people are not interested in downloading those things because people do not need that particular app. So that comes a question to us. Some innovations are not needed. We think the customers need, but actually the customers do not need, because they have other sources of methods. Okay, so this what we'll cover in the next chapter. In some products you think you need, but actually you don't need, because you have other services. Okay, so next, innovation can arise from many different sources and link between them. So an innovation can come from an individual, non-private organization, NGOs, government-funded research, university, and firms. Okay, kalau dalam government, we have kalau dalam innovation, we have apa tu? What is it called? Yang innovation contest tu, yang every year. Siapa ingat nama dia? Apa nama dia? Everyone has to be, every time you have to do like, you ada fish dalam group tu, you kena buat fishbone dia, you know what's a fishbone, whereby you write down all the possible causes and who are actually doing it. Apa nama pertandingan ni, innovation tu, alamak apa tu, nanti lah when I get it I'll let you know. Okay, anyway, back to this diagram. So you are in a firm, or you are in an organization, so you are here. So sometimes university comes up with the innovation, so the firms will realize that this is a very good innovation. They might invest and so on and so forth. Sometimes individuals just by themselves, they develop something, or sometimes NGOs, non-private organization, they have their own system, or sometimes the government itself funds innovation. Meaning this one here, over here, the government gives cash out money to universities, to firms, to come up with. The government comes up with an idea, but the innovation comes up from the firms. For example, let's say we take COVID, for example. So the government gives you some sort of money, grant, and they tell you that we need this kind of system, or we need some sort of product that can help us to do this. Okay, so the government comes up with a fund. For example, in a few years ago, when we had the major flood, especially in Kelantan and so on, whereby the whole state was flooded. So the government came up with a short-term grant for universities to come up with a 1-year solution. The duration was within 1 year, 12 months, for universities to come up with immediate small projects that can help eliminate, or they can help alert agencies, so that if the next flood happens, we are much prepared. So ramai juga yang dapatkan grant ni. It was just simple products, like you do a monitoring system, or you do an alert system. That means if someone gets a message, if someone gets the alert, they know that the flood is coming, and so on and so forth. So those are some sort of innovation. Okay, next. How do you develop innovation? So you need the ability to produce work that is useful and novel. So we look at creativity. Okay, sometimes the organization allows you to be creative. Sometimes organizations tell you, no, this is how it's been done since the beginning of time. Daripada zaman saya masuk sampai hari ini, this is how they do it, and you just have to follow. Okay, because maybe there's some bureaucracy. There are about 8 steps for you to come up with a proposal, so you follow 8 steps. However, based on your knowledge, based on your intellectual ability, that you can cut this, but there's no time for creativity. But let's move on here. Google gives, this is a real life example. In Google, they allocate, or they give 20% to all their engineer staff to spend on projects on their own. That means these are not their focus. Okay, that means, let's say they are in office for 100%, so 80% is office related works, and 20% are own projects. That means you can do any projects for 20%, within 20%. So based on this, they give their staff an opportunity to innovate, to come up with innovation. Okay, so employees will come up, and these are some of the examples that their employees have come up, not from Google, but the employees themselves come up with these ideas, and these ideas have now been published worldwide. Okay, Gmail. This is not the Gmail was there before anything, but what they did was they came up with mobile apps version, a Google News. That means it's like what you say, Astro Awani, tapi in text-based form, and this is an app whereby you can get your flight details. Google Now, okay, and AdSense is you can get, I think, all the advertisement related to certain products or something like that. Okay, so these are some of the innovations developed by the employees of a company, which is Google. And why? Because the company gave them 20% to work on any projects on their own. However, I am sure Malaysian companies do not give you 20%, neither they give you 10%. Okay, between 8 to 5, you are asked to work on a certain job or whatever not. Okay, and yes, some bosses, some management gives you the opportunity to talk about innovation, but most of them, I think, are reluctant to change. Okay, this is because the process has been there. Okay, and in an Asian environment, the process are all linked to one another. That means if you are working for a bank, for example, if you want to change a process, you have to look at all the departments which are involved, and this is going to take time because each department has a product or or information of their own. So if you change something on your side, it's going to affect the other person and the other person and the other person, so many things. Okay, so if the change is supposed to happen, then it could be, or it should happen from the top to bottom. Okay, if it happens from the bottom, yeah, the bottom is good, but the bottom has to go up first, and then you come down. Okay, when Maybank started having its Maybank to you, okay, Maybank to you way back in, I think, I don't know, 20 years ago. I know 20 years ago, no, yeah, around that. I think Maybank was one of the first ones to have Maybank to you. Customers were not happy, or were not taken for this idea, because they were thinking, how do you transfer something without seeing something? Because you don't see the money. You just don't see the money. You just put in your what you say. You put in your account details, and the money gets transferred. Okay, I still remember the first time I used it was in UiTM lah. You know, saya dengan kawan saya, we transferred $1. We transferred $1 ke $10. Saya transfer kat dia, dia transfer kat kita, and both of us quite happy. Okay, first I open my account. Okay, I transfer to you. Okay, $10. Lepas tu dia buka dia punya account. Dah masuk. Oh, happy. This was way back in 2006, I think. You know, both of us got happy, and But today, those things are very. Today, with the current situation and the current market, transfer online it's a norm. Okay, my neighbor gives me some money every I think month to pay his bills. Okay, because he can't go out because he's an old timer. He needs to go and see his money, and he needs the bill, so he goes to Petronas or 7-Eleven to pay his bills. But because of COVID, he is quite scared to go out, so he tells me, he messages me, Imran, please pay my DG bill and this is the money, and I get some profit lah, dapat lah dalam kalau ada baki dalam RM1, RM2 tu saya ambil lah. So itu saja lah. And I tell him, I call him Cik Raja, I will help you. Dia kata, not that, dia macam malas nak belajar lah, macam no lah, it's okay lah, you just do it for me lah. Okay, macam tu je. There are times that you do not want to learn anymore. So these are the things that you need to also understand. If you're coming out with a product, there are certain people, they are already there. They're already there. That means they are not going to, you cakap, oh, this product is very good, it'll make you fairer, or it'll make you better, or it'll make you, it'll be much easier for your organization. But if you're there already, kalau orang tu dah tepu, it's going to be very, very difficult. Okay, so what you have to do now is you have to convince your management in changing, okay, in innovating the process. Okay, so when we talk about innovation, we are not talking about product. Okay, this is a product. Okay, this is a product. No, we are talking about a new process. Okay, so that's one. That's where when you are talking about inventors, okay, you have to first master the basic tools. You have mastered the process. You are curious about the process. You question and assume, okay, and you seek global solution. Okay, so this, when I took this course about a year ago, when I did a study on this particular 4 points here, I realized that these were the same 4 points that Uber and Grab and probably Foodpanda used to solve the problem. Okay, Uber, it was about 2 guys traveling somewhere in Europe, and they found that taxi services is so difficult, and they came up with the idea, and idea to kicked off. But Grab, on the other hand, the Uber was there, and he knew how things work, and he was curious, and he asked lots of questions, because Grab ni, Anthony Tan is, I think, a Singaporean, tak silap saya. Okay, Singaporean, and Anthony Tan is related to Tan Chong Moto. Kalau you pernah dengar Tan Chong Moto, Nissan tu, that's Anthony Tan lah. Okay, so he has mastered that basic tool, and was curious, and comes up with a lot of question and assumption, and they would think big, how to solve this. And do you know that Grab and Gojek, pernah dengar Gojek di Indonesia? Pernah dengar tak Gojek?
Pernah ada.
Do you know that both of them were classmates? The car Harvard, are you not mistaken? Both of them were classmates. I don't know lah kat mana dia orang bercakap pasal grad and project ni. Mungkin tengah-tengah makan. Kau tahu tak, aku ingat balik dia nak kena buat project. Betul lah, I want to go back and do grad. Maybe something like that lah, I don't know lah. Tapi you see, the ideas were there already because they were in the system. They have mastered whatever tools. What I'm not talking about tools as in you tahu about programming, you tahu engineering. No, when you say mastered, the idea of mastered is not solely on you know how to use your tools or you know how to do programming. That means you have mastered the system also. You know how things work in Malaysia. You know how things work. Okay, for example, contohnya kalau dalam okay, let's say you're in the education line. Okay, let's say you're in the education line. You know how things work. You know kalau nak score dalam exam, this is how it is. Or maybe you are in the examination, in the education line dalam exam. So you know macam mana proses marking tu macam mana. And how is the marking done? Orang datang sini, orang mark sini macam mana. So you know, you have mastered the tool dah. Okay, in your office, in your organization, there must be someone who has mastered the tool, mastered everything. That means he knows. It could be as simple as, it doesn't need to be the manager at the top there. Okay, because managers come and go. Okay, but it could be that longest or that longest auntie staff tu yang duduk kat depan tu. She knows everything. Kalau procurement, dia boleh cakap, you go to this one. Okay, kalau purchasing, is this one. Okay, procurement, purchasing sama lah kan. Let's say if you want to do maintenance, you go here. So he knows everything. So that is, so if you want to get some information, you go and see this person. Okay, so innovation comes from you mastering the basic understanding, basic tools, basic operation first. And then you are curious. Why is it like this? Then you question, and what assumption? Kalau tak buat macam ni, macam mana? If I don't do this, then how? If I don't, let's say there are 7 steps, kalau saya buat sampai step 5 and I jump to step 7, is that possible? Yeah. Why do you need to do this? Why do you need to? So that's when, and then you seek global solutions rather than local solutions. Think big. Global solutions ni bukan macam you get some people from US to help you or some people from Canada or where. No. That is not what it means. That means you think big. Jangan fikir hanya in a small department. Think big. How can this problem help the organization as a whole? Rather than you say, if you will save the department's budget or something. No. You think global. How can this help? Okay? Think global. Okay. So these are all features or things that needs to be in a inventor. Okay, so these are inventors. So inventors need not have technical skills. Dia pandai repair kereta, dia pandai buat handphone. Tak ada. Now that may be possible, ya, membantu, tapi he can also be the master of a process. He knows how the operation works. Okay, so another example, this person called Dean Kamen, he invented this self-balancing two-wheel scooter. I think most of you have seen this before. Okay, and ini saja nak highlight lah, he never graduated from college. The solution was not to come up with a new answer to a known problem, but instead reformulate the problem. Okay, so he did not want to come up with a new solution. Okay, so, the solution was not to come up with a new answer, no, but he reformulated the problem. They took out problem. They took out problem too. Okay, what does that mean? That means, let's say in your department, the problem is finding, old archive files. Susah lah, every time nak cari file-file pelajar yang dah lama, susah. Okay, why not you change the problem? Maybe you do something else. Okay, if you change the problem, then you will see a different solution for that. Okay, a different solution. Because sometimes we are only focused so much on a problem, on a particular problem. But it could be, if we look it from a different perspective, then it could be much easier. Okay, so this is what he did. Okay, so users have deep understanding, because again they have deep understanding about the problems. And another example, laser speedboat, sailboats. So ini boat yang kalau you tengok sukan layar tu, boat yang flag dia 3 segi tu. So this were actually developed by not organizations, by orang-orang sailors in the Olympics. So they designed it because they had they were using it all the time. Okay? Even super glue, it was developed by people who were in snowboard. Okay, don't pakai snowboard and they felt difficult, so they developed a glue and it became popular. Okay, sometimes the problem happens from the innovation happens from the person who's going through the problem. Okay, I remember many years ago, before I started working, masa saya SPM dulu, saya kerja dengan bank lah. Okay, for about a year saya jadi office boy. I remember those days, ialah filing system kita pakai paper and files and all those things. Okay, and it was, you have to file the receipts daily and monthly and so on and so forth. But because my friend, senior staff at that time, was so much into that work, so he came up with color codes. Okay, he came up with color codes. Color kuning, it meant daily. Color my weekly. So that gave us a small innovation by him, because he was so much into it, and so that gives us, it cuts time. That means you don't have to go through each one. You can just look at the color code and know, okay, these are the daily ones. So you pick up the daily ones and you can straight go into the specific date one. Okay, because all of this were jumbled up in one big file, so you have to like flip each receipt. You flip receipt, oh ini receipt bulanan bukan, oh ini receipt tahunan bukan, oh ini weekly, oh this is not this week, previous week. Okay, so now he did it through color codes and so on, and so it became a small innovation, but it became popular. Okay, so these kind of innovations happen in organizations by someone who is really into it. Okay, some organization gives credit or gives employees the opportunity to innovate. For example, in government offices, they have some competition that allow the department or groups to come up with better solutions. Okay, better solutions. Contohnya macam kalau di government, apa nama dia, inovasi something they call it, whereby you can come with so many innovations. I've seen a simple innovation is, for example, kalau you pergi government office, banyak dia punya form kan, so many forms they have. So what this department did was, they list down all the forms dekat tepi tu, they list down, katakan you in the finance office, so finance office banyak lah, dia ada dalam 20 form kat situ, takkan you nak go to, nak tengok pigeonhole mana satu. So dia ada list kat situ, kalau you nak borang nombor 15, you tekan button 15 and automatically dekat pigeonhole lampu keluar. So it's a simple innovation, but it solves, actually it makes life easier for the users, because it only takes 1 second to get the form, rather than you look at the list or borang 15 and you go around, your head goes up and down, but this you have the light and your problems are solved. Okay, so that is a very simple solution. Another solution is whereby macam in universities we have timetable of class of students, and these timetables sometimes keep changing. So because we have timetables outside the class, okay, outside the class dia ada timetable untuk kelas tu lah, and then but this, especially in the first or second week, the timetables keep changing. So kalau timetable tu berubah di dalam sistem, it needs to be carry, you kena bawa, tampal balik ke situ. So the new innovation whereby is kita beli screen yang murah-murah daripada China, we put it there, and automatically when the system is changed on the office side, dia akan reflect kat sana. Okay, it was quite a good solution sebab the cables were already in place, plug points pun dah ada, cuma kena invest awal sikit and it lasted. Okay, so this is all simple innovation. Okay, some firms comes up with, they have their own R&D office, research and development. I'm sure some of you, some organizations have this. Some they use basic research, or some they use applied research. So applied research is basically what you are doing, business students are doing. They use data, they use research which, they use data which already is in place, and they try to apply it to something. Okay, they try to apply it to something. Contohnya macam ni lah, in stock market, you tengok all the numbers, based on the numbers, you predict the trend, and you try to apply it with the current situation. So those are applied research. Kalau in social study, we do basic research. That means we go in without something, we go in with assumption first, and we try to find out what is the problem. Okay, but in your case, in applied research, you have the numbers, and you try to make sense of those numbers. Okay, so development refers to the activity that apply knowledge to produce useful devices, material, or processes. Okay, so development is to apply those knowledge to produce. Okay, so now next, before we go into the next slide, you need to understand what is data, information, and knowledge. Can anyone tell me what is data? What is data? Data itu apa? Anyone? What is data?
Statistics.
Statistics, okay. Can you give me an example? Apa you know what it is?
Fatimah.
Oh, Fatimah, okay.
Yeah,
yes,
it's like figures and numbers.
Figures and numbers, okay, betul.
Yes.
Correct, okay. So those are data. Amira, what is information then? Oh, Fazrin, what is information? Fatimah kata data are numbers. Okay, tepat sekali. Fazrin, what is information pula? Aiman, what is information pula?
Maklumat tu, maklumat yang dia akan sekali dengan data tu.
Okay, give me an example based on Fatimah punya. Fatimah kata numbers, betul. And you kata maklumat, information, betul. Based on data tu. Give me an example supaya kita lagi faham.
So kalau contohnya yang tadi Doktor ada sebut berkenaan dengan Uber, Grab dan sebagainya.
Correct.
Okay, so let's say kalau I stay dekat Meru and then I submit order dekat Gunung Rapat lah sebagai contoh.
Yes.
Okay, and then when I submit the order, I actually submit the data to the rider lah, to the Grab company.
Correct.
Okay, so the Grab company will change the data into the information to the rider, and the rider will get the information about what is my order and where is my address and apa lagi nama penuh, phone number.
Okay, betul. Okay, so now we already know data, we already know information. Okay, Amin, are you here, or Sheila? What is knowledge then?
Saya ada doktor tapi saya tak tahu.
Okay, cuba fikir. What is the data is numbers. Okay, data tu numbers. Betul lah. So numbers kat sini kalau kita pakai example Aiman tu, numbers nombor 20, laluan jalan 5 Gunung Rapat. Itulah dia numbers. Okay. So based on that numbers, number ini has been changed to information kepada Grab rider. Okay. Alright, so Grab tu tengok, oh dia tahulah this place is in this place. So katakan Sheila, katakan Sheila is a Grab rider lah, So you get this address, right? You get this address. Dalam satu hari you get the same address on the same taman 10 kali. 10 kali you dapat kan? So what can you do with this? Apakah kalau you dapat benda yang sama 10 kali, what are you going to do? Apakah benda baik, and how are you going to innovate this process? Adakah, how are you going to innovate? You dapat address yang sama 10 kali every day. Memang akan dapat address yang sama ataupun kawasan yang sama. So what does it say? Apa maksud dia tu?
So the knowledge that I gain is actually I remember jalan tu more.
Exactly.
Lagi fasih lah.
Yes, correct. So knowledge is something you get it over time. Sebab dah 10 kali, 10 times you have done it. So knowledge is something you build on your own. You build on your own. Bukannya Aiman tak ajar, Fatimah pun tak ajar. You just use dalam arti kata lain, you sambungkanlah sel-sel otak you sendiri. And then you get, this is knowledge. This is knowledge. Maybe now you know this area percentage of people ordering is high. So business is good here. So daripada saya pusing tempat lain, might as well saya stay kat kawasan ini. Because I know at least I will get 10 orders per day here. How do you know that? It's because of the information provided by the company Grab tadi lah. Okay, so now you know. And maybe based on this knowledge, you know jalan paling senang or shortcut, or maybe you say, kalau dah ramai kat sini, maybe I can also promote my product. You know, because you know you're going to the same pakcik Ali punya rumah, you know, the same area kan. So then you know you are going to the same place over and over. So you know you're trying to build up something. Okay, another example is kalau ini example paling senang lah. Kalau orang yang datang repair printer kat office tu, printer office lah, photostat machine kat office tu, entah apa dia buat, benda tu okay. Okay, kita duduk kat photostat machine tu, kita angkat keluar tak jadi-jadi. Tapi dia datang, dia bersihkan dia punya head ke apa dia buat, jadi. Because he has the knowledge, he has done it like 10 times. He knows benda ni tak susah, repair sikit-sikit je. Okay, he has the knowledge. Okay, so basically data is just numbers. It does not make sense. Numbers. 1, 2, 5, numbers. Information makes sense, but it does not give you knowledge. Okay, and knowledge is over time. Because Cik Sheila dah ambil knowledge information tu, dah bergerak ke Gunung Rapat 10 kali. So now she knows, oh, Gunung Rapat ni dia punya mungkin bangsa Melayu dah ramai. Or orang order kat sini banyak, so I might stay here. So these are the information, these are the knowledge that I get. Okay? Faham? Sheila, Aiman dengan Fatimah? You get it?
Faham, Doktor?
Okay?
Faham, Doktor?
Yes, siapa tadi macam nak tanya? Fatimah nak tanya soalan ke? Sheila, you get the idea?
Faham?
Sheila ni yang duduk typing tu ke?
Saya KL,
sorry?
Puncak Niaga.
Puncak Niaga. Okay. So you are actually quite interesting because you are dealing with numbers every day, kan?
Betul?
So maybe dalam kepala you dah buat satu pattern. That means there is a pattern lah. I'm sure there is a pattern running on your head because you have seen the numbers over and over. You nampak syarikat ni namanya ni, and you know. So actually it brings me to a situation because you have seen the pattern. Contohnya lah, mungkin penggunaan air di satu syarikat. You see that, oh, there is a pattern. Contohnya bulan pertama sikit, bulan kedua sikit, bulan ketiga banyak. So you can see, there's something going on here. There's the same pattern. So maybe based on that information, you can come up with your own knowledge. You can come up with, why not kita offer dia something on this month? So mesti dah dia orang naknya. Dia macam-macam dekat apa tu? Sogo lah. So pakai example Sogo pula. Every time kan dekat-dekat akhir bulan, awal bulan, dekat-dekat gaji kan sales kan. Oh, tapi Sogo memang, tapi Sogo tak boleh pakai, Sogo tiap hari sales kan.
Tiap weekend.
Setiap weekend dia sales kan. Tapi you see the pattern is there. Because they know people is this, orang macam ni. So they will try to do something according to that. Okay, according to that. Because based on knowledge, based on information they have. Contohnya kalau di universiti, kalau dalam kampus saya ramai budak-budak daripada Kuala Terengganu, atau ramai budak-budak daripada Pahang. So we the MPP, Student Majlis Perwakilan Pelajar tahu, kalau diorang cuba sewa bas untuk balik raya, it'll be good. So based on the information they get. Alright. Okay, let's continue. Right. There are also some firms R&D design, they use science push. That means we go by demand push to do. Demand push, customer yang suggest. Based on customer suggestion, they come up with this one lah. or maybe scientific discovery. Scientific discovery daripada sains. Okay, daripada sains ataupun daripada teknologi lah yang sedia ada. Contohnya macam sekarang QR code. It's something everyone is talking about. Okay, QR code, everyone sikit-sikit QR code, sikit-sikit QR code dengan My Sejahtera sekarang. So organizations can use this QR code for their own innovation. Okay, because they know semua orang is talking about QR code. So that is also a science push. People say it's a science push. Or mobile phone is also a science push because they know everyone has a mobile phone. Why not we do something on mobile development because everyone has it already. Okay, so this is also another way innovation can be expanded in organization. Okay, these are some statistics where frequent collaboration between customer suppliers and local universities. Okay, so in Japan, for example, 34% of innovation comes from collaboration comes from the university, 34%. Okay. However, in Malaysia, collaboration with university tu memang ada, tapi innovation tu tak ke mana sometimes. Okay. It's not that we do not have a division. Kita ada department or kita ada division yang handle innovation, tapi I think because in Malaysia or in Asian countries, for example, mostly innovation coming out from universities are not that they don't value it so much lah. They don't value it so much. There are banyak universiti yang buat innovation ni. Innovation can come out. Contohnya macam even UiTM come out with minyak, okay, ada yang keluarkan minyak wangi, minyak urut, minyak kelapa, all those things. But it's not taken anywhere just yet. Okay, so there could be some other problems as well. Okay. All right, so we look at the next one, absorptive capacity, the extent to which a firm can recognize the value of new external information, assimilate it, and apply it towards achieving organization goal. Okay, so in order for you to achieve creativity in innovation, some organizations, they try to innovate in-house, okay, and some they try to innovate from external. So in-house is in-house maksudnya ke dalam, they will try to use kepakaran dalaman to come up with ideas and new services. But absorptive capacity is they use outside punya sources to apply to inside punya problems and to innovate. Like QR code. So it comes from outside, it's not something inside. From outside, they absorb benda tu masuk dalam organization and they will try to implement it. Okay, implement it. Yes.
Sorry, tak ada slide.
Oh, sorry, lupa pula. Okay, can you see?
Yes, thank you, Doctor.
Okay, sorry. Okay, absorptive capacity, that means the company recognizes outside information, assimilate it to inside, and they try to use it internally. Okay, kalau internal sources, meaning dia ambil kepakaran dalaman lah. Okay, but external absorptive capacity ni, they will use the internal people, pakai orang dalam, tapi pakai idea daripada dua, bring it inside and you change it according to our kind of work lah. Okay. Contohnya macam itulah QR code sekarang ni. It's something everyone is doing. Semua orang buat QR code. Masuk sini QR code, masuk sana QR code. Pay pakai QR code, information pakai QR code. Okay. So you take the QR code punya concept, you bring it inside your organization and you use it. Okay. That's a simple thing. I remember when I was in Australia, masa buat PhD dalam 2008, so I saw QR code dalam banner-banner. I mean, saya tahu lah QR code apa, but tak ada perasaan macam nak scan pun. Macam phone pun, I think that time only Apple boleh scan. Tapi itulah 2008. When I came back to Malaysia dalam 2012-13 pun QR code tu tak. It was nothing big. But now, I think everywhere is QR code. QR code, QR code, QR code. Semenjak MySejahtera ni lagilah QR code. Okay, lagilah QR code. So what I'm trying to say is teknologi QR code ni di negara lain dah sampai 2008 lah. Kalau di Australia tu 2008 lah. I was there. 2008 I was there and they was talking about working from home and QR code, whereby in Malaysia we was not talking about that. Now sekarang ni kita banyak bercakap pasal working from home and we ada beberapa isu lah. We are talking about how to work from home. And masa 2008 in Australia they already talking about working from home. Macam mana kita nak kerja dari rumah? Okay, because there was also a question. Kalau kita bekerja dari rumah, kita cedera parah. Contohnya, kalau kat office, kalau kita tengah buat kerja kat office, bom office tu jatuh, then office kena bayar lah kan, because we are working. Kalau kat rumah macam mana? Kalau tiba-tiba buat kerja and you fall down, cedera kaki patah, who is going to pay? Okay, who is going to pay? Adakah organisation is going to boleh claim? Kita boleh claim. Okay, sama juga macam perkeso. You are in the, you are in office, something happens, or on the way to office boleh, on the way balik pun boleh. So in terms of that, they were questioning already. Kalau kat Malaysia sih, we are baru I think 1 year work from home, and our work from home pun masih belum stable lagi, because most of our documents are in office, and most of our clients are not in line with work from office, work from home. So susah jugalah. Okay, so but over time, I think insyaAllah we will be able to work from anywhere lah. Okay, work from anywhere. Okay, let us just continue sikit lagi. Ada dalam 5 slide and then we stop for about 15 minutes. So kita akan stop dalam 10:45 gitu . Okay, okay, the next slide. Okay, so this is a act in US which allow universities to collect royalties on innovation. Okay, that means the universities come out with innovation and the royalty is collected by the university itself. Okay, ini daftar ni. So based on this, revenues from university innovations are still very small, but universities also contribute to innovation through publication of research results. So this is what we do. Okay. Any innovation started by the university will get some royalty. Okay, although innovation daripada university is relatively very small, tapi kita banyak menulis dekat paper, research journals, so that is where we try to contribute our ideas. Okay, some academicians, they contribute their innovation through product. Buat minyak masak, buat apa tu? Buat perfume, buat tanah, buat PPE, buat something lah. Okay, lab works. But some try to contribute their ideas through process, through publication, penulisan. Okay, this is how we do it lah. Okay, so government invest research through their own labs. These are all normal things. Okay, okay. So this is the last one for this chapter. Okay. So innovation through collaborative network. The size and structure of this network changes over time due to challenges in alliance activity. Collaboration smarter, not harder. Okay. So as you can see, in the 1995, collaboration was like this. Everything was linked to each other. It was so hard. You collaborate ni maksudnya, when you collaborate, that means you not collaborate with everyone. Aku nak collaborate ni, aku nak collaborate ni, but you don't know what you're doing. You collaborate je, but you don't know what you're doing. So you're so hard. That means so thick. But over time, collaboration macam ni dah. That means you only collaborate based on what you think is necessary for the organization. Collaborate through the department. Collaborate on the courses. Collaborate on the products. Okay, you collaborate just what is necessary. So that's why they say over time, it's much more smarter collaboration. Okay, so this one you see, as you see, 95. So everyone needs on to collaborate. Tapi kat ini dia collaborate dia berpecah. That means ini sikit je dia collaborate. Like this and this are not linked to each other. That means in the organization, collaboration can happen between department A and B. Dia tak ada kaitan dengan C and D. C and D can have their own collaboration, or maybe A is collaborating with another organization outside, which has nothing to do with the other departments. Okay, so it's smarter collaboration. Okay, smarter collaboration. Contohnya, you can take all this e-wallet. They are collaborating so much with finance companies, banks, and they're collaborating dengan other companies as well. So they're not contributing everything. That means kalau you pakai e-wallet tu, if you go to pharmacy, you can use it. You go to shopping, yes, you can use it only to certain ones. Okay, only to certain ones. Kalau you beli ni, only to this one. There are certain collaborations yang boleh. Okay, not all collaborators, because the companies know, because all of these require payment services. So some companies are not doing well, some companies are doing well. So it must be a smart collaboration, a win-win situation for both parties. Okay, so that promotes innovation. So in your organization, in order for you to promote innovation, one, you must start from information that you have, or data that you have. Contohnya macam tadi Sheila dah keluar dah. Okay, Sheila, you have data with you, you have all the numbers with you. Based on that, you can come up with something, because I'm sure dalam kepala you there's something going on. Mestilah semua orang ada kepala, semua orang dalam otak tu something going on. So based on that, you're trying to picture out apa benda ni. I always see this number every time, every month. So those are the things that you can try to innovate. Alright, okay. So we will stop for about 15 minutes. Kita akan continue balik dalam say 10:45. Okay.
Okay, doktor.
Okay, doktor.
Alright, I'll see you back at 10:45.